Welcome back, people. Drive Talk is back, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 things you should definitely know about buying your first car. The first thing you're going to think, the first thing you're going to think about when you buy your first car is, are you going to buy a new car or are you going to buy a used car? Me personally, I bought a used car, £400, proper rust bucket. It was a box. I didn't really care about it, but the main thing is I knew that I didn't care what I'd look like. I was driving around, I got my experience up. To be fair, I did crash it when I traded it in, but that's not the point. I actually did.
Do you have any pictures of you in that car?
No. God. Of course, we're not all millionaires. We haven't got loads of money. Some of us on a budget, just like I was. So if you are on a budget, make sure you do your research. Check out what car you want to have. Check out how much the insurance is going to be, the fuel, etc., etc. Don't jump into anything straight away, because you could shoot yourself in your own foot. So if you are a cheap ass like me and you are on a budget, the pros of getting a used car is definitely a lot cheaper, okay? Maybe a peace of mind, when you're driving that car, I mean, we don't want a crash, of course, but if you do have little bumps and scrapes, maybe you won't feel as bad. Also, don't forget the depreciation on the car. You're not going to lose that much money on an older car compared to if you buy a brand new car just out of the garage. You're talking at least £2,000 as soon as you drive off the forecourt. There are also a few cons to buying a used car, of course. It could go wrong, it could break down, the maintenance could be a lot more costly. Let's face it, all cars go wrong. Used or new. When you buy a used car, you never know 100% what you're going to get, whether you bought it from a dealership or a friend even. All cars go wrong. Simple. Just bear in mind, the older the car you buy, obviously the more it's been used. So parts been worn down, it could break down a hell of a lot more, and it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run. So old cars, used cars can be great. Let's have a little chat about newer cars, shall we? There's lots of pros about buying a newer car. For example, even though it's going to cost you a fair bit more money, they're going to be a lot more reliable. The safety features are going to be a hell of a lot better. A lot of cars now come with features, things like parking sensors, lane discipline sensors, all that sort of good stuff. But I can go on and on. However, when you buy a newer car or a brand new car, my best advice for you to do is go down to your local dealership, ask them exactly what they can do for you. There are many finance options which helps you pay monthly and things like that. Of course, we don't all have thousands and thousands of money in the bank just sitting there. So the good thing about finance options is you can pay monthly and it will help you out a lot more. And don't forget, with the newer cars, sometimes they will come with sat-nav, which is great, CarPlay, which is great for playing your music and things like that. Not forgetting, with brand new cars, there are still a few cons, of course. Also, remember, with the newer car, what you buy, it's going to be more expensive. The depreciation, in other words, the money you lose on the car is going to go down so quick. And of course, when you're driving the car itself, you're going to be a little bit worried because you spend all this money on this brand new car. Maybe you wouldn't drive as confidently as what you would in a used car. Let's weigh that up a little bit. And of course, you've just bought that brand new car. Have you actually got any money left for your fuel? In my opinion, just get yourself a piece of shit. All right, get yourself around for that first year, and that is all you need. But then again, that's my opinion. It don't matter. You do what you want to do. Just be safe. Talking about being safe, before you drive the car, make sure you are insured. It's definitely something you need. Even though none of us want to pay for it, we've got to. It is also very personal, down to you. Everybody is different. Your insurance premium can go up, it can go down depending on where you live, if you've parked your car off the road, or if you've even parked in the garage, or if you do generally leave it on the road. This can all have an effect on how much you pay per year. Also, let's not forget about the black boxes, what you have. Now, we have a video about black boxes which go into depth. I could go on and on and on, but the best thing to do, just watch the video. Make sure when you do get your car that you have insurance before you drive it, especially if you've got a used car, you might have to sort it out yourself. If you go down to the garage, they sometimes give you some days free or with the car. If you get your car from a dealership, then they might give you, say, 7 days free insurance before you start. After that, you have to make sure you get your insurance yourself. So depending on which car you get is depending on how much your insurance is going to be. Depending on which car you get is depending on how much the insurance is going to be, of course. Each car has each individual insurance group which it will be under. Now, if you're going to buy a small little hatchback, you're probably looking at cheap insurance. Or you're going to get a dream car like I want, an Audi R8. Well, you probably wouldn't get insured anyway, but that's not the point. It's going to be right up here. Okay, road tax. Road tax. I know, another thing we all must have on our cars. Now, if you're going to buy a new car, you'll probably get taxed with the car when you buy it. However, it's especially important when you're buying a used car. Now, when you buy a used car, The moment you buy that car, the car will not have tax on it. The tax will be refunded back to the person who had it before. So you must make sure, please, that you re-tax the car when you buy it. Road tax, vehicle tax, a very misleading term. What a lot of people think is for the actual road itself when it's not. It's about how much crap your car kicks out of the back of it, okay? Your CO2 emissions. So depending on what car you buy, it's depending on how much tax you'll pay for. Personally, my car costs $0. There are cars out there right now which have zero road tax, like myself. So you don't pay any a year. However, you must go online every year to say that you still own the car and that you want to re-tax the car, even though it costs nothing. These days, there's loads of different ways of buying a car. You've got finance, and of course, you can just buy it outright. Just ask mummy and dad. When you finance a car, typically you'll be paying monthly, so it'll be a little bit cheaper than buying it outright. And of course, you can get something a little bit nicer. With the finance option, of course, you'll find it a lot more affordable. There are loads of different options with financing. Okay, loads of them. There's 3 main ones. The first one is PCP, which stands for Personal Contract Purchase. Your monthly payments will generally be lower. Potentially you'll have a big balloon payment at the end if you want to keep the car, or you could trade the car back in, or you also have the option of giving the car back and starting a fresh new finance. The second one is HP, which is hire purchase. Now your monthly payments might be a little bit higher, but they continue on and on until you own the car at the end of it. And the last one is PCH, which is probably the least common, to be honest. This is where you'll pay a monthly payment and you're pretty much just leasing the car. You'll pay monthly for the car and you'll never own the car and you'll have to hand it back. On this finance option, you're probably going to have a lot more restrictions, especially on the mileage. And of course, if you dent the car or damage the car in any way, you have to get it repaired. With all the finance options out there, of course, if you get a little bit confused, just go down to your main dealership or wherever you want to go. They will tell you in more detail and tell you exactly what you need to know. MOTs then, okay, we all need an MOT on our car, just like we do insurance and our tax. With regards to an older car, let's go into the older cars first. Okay, so every 12 months, you must be updated with a new MOT certificate. The reason why we get MOTs is purely because our cars have to be safe on the road. Now, when you take your car to an MOT station, they will test it for all the safety precautions they need to make sure is good for the car. Once they've established that the car is safe to go on the roads, they'll give you a certificate, and that means you've got a fresh MOT certificate for 12 months. But whatever you do, don't forget to renew it or just remind yourself when your expiry date is coming up. There's a massive benefit we can all get from buying a lovely, shiny, brand new car, and that's the fact you don't need Emmy. Who's Emmy? I was on a roll then and all. There's a great thing. There's just an awesome, amazing thing we get with a brand new car, along with all the other benefits. And that's the fact you will not need an MOT certificate for the first 3 years you own the car. With the older style cars you buy, the car might still have MOT. So make sure when you buy the car, you ask the person you're buying it off how much MOT it has left and ask for the MOT certificate. If you don't have an MOT certificate, you can look online, put your reg in on the DirectGov website, and it'll tell you when your MOT expires. And it can also tell you about your tax too. Tax too. Along with your MOT, you can potentially service your vehicle. Some people like to do this at the same time because it could help and also keeps your engine running nice and fresh. However, you've got to understand that you don't have to service your car, but if you buy a brand new car, it might be required that you definitely have to have it serviced to keep you up your warranty for the car. All right, peeps, that pretty much wraps it up. They are the 5 things you need to know about buying your first car. So if you guys got any questions, once again, put them in the comments below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. And you can follow me if you want on Jane Pels on Instagram. I'll catch you all very soon. Ciao.